Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. We are now looking at some of the basic Vedanta topics. We will begin with what is the fundamental or the universal human problem. Let us see what is common to all human beings, all of us, wherever we are, whatever our age may, whatever our nationality. One thing is certain, that we want to be happy, and we want to be happy all the time. However, this happiness requires a prerequisite of security. Just like we say roti, kapada or makan. If the basics are not there, we cannot be happy. So security is a most important need. Once there is some amount of basic security, then we need a peace of mind. Can you imagine if a person is mentally disturbed, you cannot be happy. So mental peace is required. When security is there and peace is there, the next thing we look for is to be happy. According to our scriptures have something to say about this here. They say, this peace and security and happiness that we are looking for, which is universal, which is common to people of all nationality all over the world, is within ourselves. And they also have some very disturbing news. And the disturbing news is this peace, this security and happiness, particularly lasting peace, lasting security, and lasting happiness, is within ourselves only. What does it mean? It means that if you're searching for security, peace, happiness outside, such a search is a misplaced search. There is a very, what can I say, a very silly story. We have all heard the story of an old lady searching under a street light. And because she was old and she was searching, a young man joins her and then asks her, what is she looking for? She says, I have lost a coin, I'm looking for it. And so he joins her to help her. And after some time, seeing two people looking around in a street light, more people join. Ultimately, a small crowd look around the street light for what they are looking for, a dropped coin. Finally, one person goes to her and says, but where have you dropped it? Or where have you lost it? She said, I have lost it in my hut, but because there is no light there, I'm searching for it here. All of them look at her and say, you stupid old lady, however hard you search here, do you think you're going to find it? Now the story looks very stupid. But then, if you really understand the stupidity of the story, we will find the truth that all of us are searching for happiness, all of us are searching for peace, all of us are searching for security in a place which is not there. If you're looking for it outside, it is going to be a misplaced search. So the truth is, whatever we are looking for is there within us. Now, if it is there within us, we should be embodiments of happiness, which we are not. The scriptures give us the next information. Although there is peace, security, and happiness, not ordinary peace, security, and happiness, lasting, everlasting peace, security, and happiness within us, they are covered. They are covered by multiple layers. And these multiple layers are given technical names. And as we are studying Vedanta, let us be familiar with certain technical terms, because these terms appear in the scriptures, and someday we have to address these terms. In English, we will say, all these are diseases affecting the mind. The first disease affecting the mind is called mala, or impurity. The second disease is called vikshepa, or restlessness of the mind. We will understand when the mind is restless, it is a turbulent mind. You will not be able to discover the peace, security, and happiness which is there. And third, although I am already that, this is covered. It has to be discovered. That is called avarana. Let us go to the first layer of covering called mala. What is mala? As mind, I have desire. That means I am not happy, or my mind is not happy with whatever it is. And whenever my mind is not happy, the mind has a desire. That means if I can get this, if I can accomplish this, then I will be happy. That is called karma. And because I have karma, I have a desire, I will work for my desires. Now, if I don't get my desires, I will get very angry. I get krodha. If somebody else gets it, I will be jealous. That is called matsarya. Now, do you think I will be happy if I get it? I will want more. The need for more is called lobha. Now, when you have even more, when you have mada or arrogance, and when a person is intoxicated with mada, the mind gets confused or the mind gets deluded. So the 6 impurities that all of us have is called the 6 internal enemies or ripuhu: kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya. And unless I work on all these things, the peace, security, and happiness which is there within me, I am not able to discover. The second layer of problems in my mind, which block the jewels within me, is called vikshepa. And vikshepa is in the form of mental restlessness. My mind is turbulent. And as I've already explained, a turbulent mind is not able to see the treasures within. The third is all of us are born with ignorance. We are not born knowledgeable. And that is what is called our capital. We are born with ignorance. We are born with ignorance of all worldly knowledge. We are born with ignorance of all language skills. So too, we are born with ignorance of our true nature. And this born ignorance is called avarana. I am unaware of the fact that I am the source of lasting peace, security, and happiness. And because I'm not aware of the fact, I search outside of me. And this becomes a misplaced search. The message of all the scriptures is the seeker is the sought, which means I have to look for it within myself. Now, the scriptures not only give us this information, the scriptures give you certain techniques to help us to discover or remove these 3 coverings. And the process of removing these coverings is called sadhana or yoga. So there are 3 sadhanas that we have to follow for the 3 blocks. The first sadhana is called karma yoga. Karma yoga is required to purify the mind of the internal enemies of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, which are collectively called as malam or mala. Upasana yoga or various forms of meditation. Mantra japa, that means the teacher gives you a mantra. And when you give a mantra and you constantly keep chanting the mantra, a certain mental quietude happens. And in the quietness of the mind, the restlessness comes down. And the restlessness paves the way for discovery of my true nature. Once the mind is not so restless, once the mind is free of kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, then I'm ready to go to a teacher for the third sadhana called Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means getting spiritual knowledge. So now such a person becomes receptive for spiritual knowledge. Such a person can go to a teacher and to the scriptures to be able to discover our true nature. And these are the 3 sadhanas. Ultimately, these 3 sadhanas, three yogas, karma yoga, upasana yoga, and jnana yoga, they help me to reclaim my birthright, to reclaim my inner wealth. As Bal Gangadhar Tilak had said, Swaraj is my birthright and I will have it. Freedom, moksha, paramapurushartha is my birthright. I will have it. I will have it when in this lifetime itself. Now, for all students who are listening to this, let us make this a determination. In this life, I've had the opportunity to come towards scriptures. And I do not know whether I'm going to get another chance like this. So let me make that resolve that I am going to do whatever it takes to be able to discover my inner treasure, just as Tilak had said, Swaraj is my birthright and I will have it. And he led a whole country towards freedom. Let this be our slogan. Moksha or Parama Purushartha is my birthright and I will have it. So, a little more details about these sadhanas or these yogas. What is karma yoga? Karma is something we always do. But if you do it as a yoga, when does karma become a yoga? Whenever it is right action. When is the action right? Whenever I bring a sense of devotion in whatever I do. Devotion means I'm doing it for someone I love. Whenever there is love integrated into action, particularly love for God, I'm doing it as a dedication. Any form of a dedicated action becomes a karma, becomes a yoga. That means throughout our day, whatever I maybe do, any mundane task from driving a car to cleaning the floor or cleaning dishes or treating patients, whatever you may be doing, that can become a yoga. Additionally, there is another thing. One is right action and the right attitude. Right action means selfless actions. Right attitude is what I already said, Ishvara Arpana, as if I'm doing it to God. And for any action that you do, you will be compensated or you will be rewarded or you will be getting something in return for your action. We always have a certain expectation as the outcome. But a karma yogi is open to whatever he gets as a compensation. And that is called a prasada bhava. If I do my action the right way, that means the selfless way as a contribution, and I'm doing it in the right attitude, then what happens? The impurities in my mind, the kama, krodha, lobha, mada, matsarya, will significantly come down and my mind becomes ready for spiritual knowledge. The next level of teaching is various forms of meditation. The simplest form is called mantra japa. For example, the teacher gives you a mantra, Shri Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, and a japamala, and tells you how long and how often you do it. Normally, throughout our waking days, waking time, we are always doing something or the other. We are not used to sitting in one place and doing nothing. And when we learn to consciously slow our mind, do some task repetitively, a mantra like Om Namah Shivaya. Now, suddenly, we have gone beyond time. We are not in the domain of time. We are in the domain of eternity. And when you are so fully involved in what you are doing, that is a form of meditation called Upasana Yoga. And finally, exactly what we're doing in the present class, this is called Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means using scriptures and you using teachers to be able to discover my true nature and thereby to be able to discover that I am the oasis of eternal peace, security, and happiness within myself. I don't have to move out of myself to get these treasures. Now, what are these scriptures? Our scriptures are called the Vedas. The word Veda means a source of knowledge. Vedas are revelations by the Lord. And the Lord gives these signals which are downloaded by our rishis. And these Vedas have got four portions. What are the four portions of the faith? The first portion is called the Mantra Bhaga or the Samhita Bhaga. And this is important because these Vedic mantras make the diagnosis that I have a problem. Because as long as we think that I have no problem, I'm okay, I will never approach a spiritual teacher for solution. When you use mantra, the mantras help us to make a certain diagnosis that I have an issue, that I need to be able to discover myself. So I go to a teacher. So the mantra bhaga or the various Vedic mantras help us to discover that there is a universal human problem within me. Then the Brahmana bhaga gives various karmas. Karmas means various techniques that have to be done for accomplishing our goals in our life. The meditation parts comes in the Aranyaka portion. And the philosophical portion are the end portion of the Vedas, and that is called the Upanishadic Bharga. So the Vedas have got 4 parts. One is called the Samhita Bharga, which give various mantras, and those mantras help us to discover that there is an issue that I need to work on. Then there is the Brahmana Bhaga, which tells you various karmas, various activities that we need to do as part of a spiritual evolution. Then the meditations come in the Aranyaka Bhaga. And then finally, the Veda Anta, the end portion, gives you spiritual knowledge, which is the philosophical portion of the Vedas. Now, the Vedas are very voluminous, and thanks to Lord Sri Krishna, the entire Vedas have been condensed in the whole Bhagavad Gita in 700 verses. And Adi Shankara has clearly told us the study of the Bhagavad Gita is as good as the study of all the Vedas. So now we study the Bhagavad Gita instead of studying the Vedas themselves. However, we also study the end portion of the Vedas, which are called the Upanishads. And in order to be able to study them, we study certain auxiliary texts like Tattva Bodha. In today's class, I will give you a little introduction to what is this Tattva Bodha which we are beginning. The introductory text which we call Atma Bodha. Now, what is this Atma Bodha? Now, Atma Bodha is a Prakarana Grantha. A Prakarana Grantha is a supporting text which helps us to understand the main source of Vedanta, which is the Upanishads. The Prakarana Granthas may be classified as introductory. The Atma Bodha and Tattva Bodha that we are studying are both introductory texts. Viveka Chudamani is also an introductory text. There are some Prakarana Granthas which are considered as advanced Prakarana Grantha. These advanced Prakarana Grantha, for example, Dridrishya Viveka. Now, these are studied after the studying of various Upanishads so that our understanding of the Upanishads become more clear. Different Upanishadic ideas are questioned. Other systems of philosophy like Sankhya, Nyaya are considered, and their philosophies are analyzed. And through a process of dialogue, all the contrary theories and interpretations are negated, and the Upanishadic idea is very clearly pointed out in these advanced Prakarana Granthas. The Atma Bodha is a slightly more advanced text than Tattva Bodha. Throughout on these introductory classes, you will be having both Atma Bodha and Tattva Bodha. In Atma Bodha, the fundamental ideas are very beautifully clarified, and there are some important topics also. Every verse has got a very clear example, which you will see in today's class also. And it is a short text of 68 shlokas, and in Anustup Chandas, the same meter as in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, how do we derive the term Atma and Bodha? Now, the term Atma means my very nature, my true nature, my true self. Now, do we have an unreal self? Of course, my very biodata is my unreal self. And we always take our unreal self to be our real self. It is only when you come to a Vedantic class, we know there is something called the real self and the unreal self. And the real self is called Atma. The word Atma comes from Apnoti iti Atma, that which is all pervasive. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 7th chapter, there is a verse which says, Shri Krishna says, my sarvam idam protam sutre manigana eva. I pervade everything in an imperceptible manner. So to Atma is that which pervades everything. Everything in the creation and every one of us is pervaded by Atma. The word Bodha means knowledge. Now you will have a doubt. Now, both the words Atma and Bodha have something of knowledge. See, Atma means consciousness. I'm speaking, you're listening. Why are you aware? Because you are conscious. The essential aspect of consciousness is knowledge. So consciousness means knowledge. Bodha also means knowledge. That means Atma Bodha would mean awareness, awareness. See, these are the things which are so nicely discussed by our teachers. What is the difference between knowledge in Atma and knowledge in Bodha? That means there are two kinds of knowledge. Now, from now on till the end of my introduction, it is going to be a little difficult, but if you get it, I want you to get it. Now, the Atma in Atma Bodha, or my true nature, which is of the nature of consciousness or awareness, is eternal. It always is. It is also called Samanya Jnanam. It is of the nature of awareness. It is pure knowledge. It is not knowledge of any particular object. For example, I'm seeing the computer in front of me. When I begin to become aware of the computer, it becomes a specific knowledge. We are not talking about specific knowledge. We are talking about general awareness. So the Atma in the Atma Bodha, that part is called objectless knowledge or general awareness. Another nice term called for it is called Samanya Jnanam. Now, there is another knowledge called Vishesha Jnanam. What is Vishesha Jnanam? Now, I'm seeing the computer in front of me. How am I seeing the computer? Because of my eyes and my mind. I'm using a certain instrument to know. And this is a born knowledge. And because it is a born knowledge, that means it has been done through a certain process. It is called Janya Jnanam. In comparison to Atma, which is diffuse knowledge, which does not use any instrument to see or hear, but it is of the knowledge of, it is of the nature of awareness. This knowledge is not eternal knowledge. For example, English knowledge has come through a process of knowing. And because there is this process of knowing, it is called Janya Jnanam, or knowledge that has a beginning. I've already mentioned, whenever I use a certain instrument of knowledge, technically this eyes and my mind, which helps me to see, are called pramanam. The object that I see is called prameyam. The knowledge that I get is called prama. This knowledge I get is because there is a thought that forms in my mind. I'm seeing a computer. If I see a pot, a thought forms in my mind. I'm seeing a pot. Now, in Sanskrit, the word a thought is called vritti. All right. And the moment a thought is born, then what happens? The original consciousness has now become a limited consciousness. What was general awareness has now become a specific awareness, in the sense, I am aware, I'm speaking to you. I'm aware of the computer, I'm aware of all the surroundings. Now, that Samanya Jnanam has become a Vishesha Jnanam. Now, Vishesha Jnanam has got various practical applications. For example, to handle and go around in the world, we need all forms of Vishesha Jnanam. So we need objective knowledge. You need medical knowledge, we need engineering knowledge, we need all forms of social knowledge. And to know ourselves also, to get that I am Atma, that is also Vishesha Jnanam. So we have two forms of knowledge. One is objectless knowledge, which is called Swarupa Jnanam, which is called Ajanya Jnanam, or as it is called Samanya Jnanam. Now, I'm using different terms because these different terms come in different. Now, let us analyze this Samanya Jnanam. Samanya Jnanam is the awareness which is there all the time. Even when I'm asleep, I know I have slept well. Even when I'm dreaming, I know I am dreaming. When I'm awake, I know I am awake. So there is some awareness that is there all the time. All of us at all time have got this Samanya Jnanam or Swarupa Jnanam. But even though all of us have Swarupa Jnanam, we still suffer from ignorance of our true nature. Even though we have Swarupa Jnanam, we are still samsaris and bound by all these worldly affairs. So what is the conclusion? Swarupa Jnanam or Samanya Jnanam cannot give liberation by itself. Swarupa Jnanam or Samanya Jnanam cannot give happiness by itself, although it is our very nature. I'll repeat the sentence. Merely possessing Swarupa Jnanam or Samanya Jnanam or Ajanya Jnanam will give us Purnatvam. We need specific knowledge. That is why we need Atma Bodha. We should have knowledge about ourselves. Now, I want you to understand this statement. Therefore, I need specific knowledge about myself. I need Vishesha Jnanam about my true nature, which is of the nature of Samanya Jnanam. I hope you get that point. What is that Vishesha knowledge? I'm not this body, I'm not this mind. I think I'm this body, and I think I'm this mind. But then I should know I am Nityaha, because now I identify with that awareness. I'm Nityaha, I'm Shuddhaha, I'm Buddhaha, I'm Muktaha. Now this knowledge should come, and this knowledge comes through the process of studying Atma Bodha. So we need subjective knowledge. We need a knowledge in which the subject is myself. We are already Atma, but Atma Bodha we do not have. And that is why we are studying this text. So Atma Bodha is Janya Jnanam. It is a specific knowledge. It has to be produced by effort. And what is the means? By Guru and the text, this text itself. Now, is this Atma Bodha, this knowledge about my true nature, is it inert or is it conscious? For example, any knowledge has to be conscious. Now, the book that I have is inert, but the book is called Atma Bodha because even though the book is inert, the inert book, through the help of a guru, becomes alive, and it will help me to understand my true nature. And therefore, even the book is called Atma Bodha. So the book may be inert, but the book helps me to get enlightened about my true nature. So the book is also called Atma Bodha. Now with this, let this be our goal. What is our goal? I want to know my true nature, that I am of the nature of permanent peace, security, and happiness. But this is covered, and I'm in the process of discovery. And that discovery happens through knowledge of my own self. For this knowledge, I will have certain blocks that have to be removed, and that is Mala, Vikshepa, Avarna. And this is possible through various sadhanas like Karma Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. In conclusion, the main problem is ignorance of my true nature. I do not know who I am. I think I'm this limited body-mind complex. And because I think I'm limited, I have a desire to do something or the other. And because of desire, all this karma, krodha, and all that happens. This ignorance can be destroyed only by jnanam. And therefore, we have to study Atma Jnanam.